welcome to the channel. My name is Anna Maria and this is the 28th episode I'm doing in a series about the witch trials. And in today's episode I will talk about the Pittenweem Witches. I will link the other ones down below. I will remind everyone that the witch trials were brutal, and some of the themes I will take up can be distressing, especially when it comes to the punishments for the accused. So warning for the episode. This happened in the village of Pittenweem in Scotland in 1704 and a few years onwards. It was 5 women that were accused of witchcraft. There are some other people mentioned as well, but these 5 people are the main people accused. A teenager called Patrick Morton, who was 16 at the time, was working in his father's blacksmith shop when a woman called Beatrix Lane came up to him. She wanted him to make some nails for her. Patrick declined since he already had another job to do. Beatrix became very angry with him and started threatening him. When Patrick went out the next day, he saw that Beatrix had put a water bucket and some burning coal outside of her house. Patrick took that as she put a spell on him, and he started feeling weak and could hardly walk. His health went down quickly and he was beginning to having fits. His body was rigid and people started seeing scratches all over him. Patrick said that he was being pinched and scratched, and he also didn't want any food. A similar thing happened in the Paisley Witches case, which I have done an episode on before, and it will be linked down below. People were comparing these 2 cases at the time, and a minister called Patrick Cowper had read about this case. And since he already hated witches, this only strengthened his belief that this must be witchcraft. Patrick Cowper started his mission to convince the teenage boy Patrick that Beatrix had connections with the devil and that she was the cause of his illness. And Patrick took his advice, and in 1704 he accused Beatrix for being a witch, and he also accused 4 other women. One of the other women, Janet Cornfoot, was known for casting spells and using witchcraft. The women that usually got accused at this time were poor and old. The women were put in prison, and while there they were tortured by different methods, such as being kept awake for long periods of time and being beaten. After several days of horrible torture, 4 of the women confessed. Beatrix confessed to using witchcraft with intent to harm. She also said that she had a wax model of her victims that she was stabbing with needles. She also said that she had met the devil and that he was showing himself as a black dog. Beatrix wanted to offer him her daughter and granddaughter. Another woman called Isabel Adam said that she had intimate liaisons with the devil and that he had left a devil's mark on her body. She also said that she had planned to kill a man, but the plans fell through. Janet Cornfoot said that the devil was visiting her in prison and had threatened her to not confess. It costed a lot of money to have these women in prison, so they put up a bail. All of the women except Janet Cornfoot was released. Janet was still in solitary confinement, and one of the guards started to feel sorry for her. So he put her in a cell with a window so she could look out. But Janet managed to escape through that window. She fled to her hometown, but was soon caught and brought back to Pittenweem, where she was met with a lynch mob. They were beating her, they were dangling her from a rope on a ship in the harbor and throwing stones at her. They then took her down into the town and pressed her by putting a door on her and heavy stones. She was then run over by a horse and cart several times. The minister Patrick Cowper was in on all of this. People were divided on what happened here, and it was a murder investigation where 4 men were held in custody. But Patrick Cowper decided to release them, even though the Privy Council wanted them to be in a trial. Beatrix Lang asked for protection from the Privy Council so she wouldn't meet the same fate. And the Privy Council wanted to give her that protection, but others were against it. The Privy Council also tried again to get the people that murdered Janet Cornfoot, but without success, and no one was ever tried for that murder. A few years later, in 1710, a woman called Janet Horsborough put in an action for wrongful imprisonment, and she won. She was given money as a compensation for what she went through in 1704. And that was all for this episode about the Pittenweem Witches. In the next episode, I will talk about 2 trials, the Baden-Baden and the Ellwangen. If you like this episode, please like, comment and subscribe. It will help out the channel a lot, and I will see you in the next one.